Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you're having a great day today. As tuning in, make sure you do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, I wanted to talk about Lawrence Okolie because he's coming off the heels of his impressive fourth round TKO victory over Wadi Camacho on the Charlie Edwards versus Angel Moreno undercard. And he has pretty much at this point conquered the entire British cruiserweight scene. You know, he's beating all the names you want to beat in the British, ranks for the cruiserweight division. You know, the likes of Matty Askin, the likes of Wadi Camacho, and most notably, because that's who this video is tied to, Isaac Chamberlain. Now, for those of you who had a chance to watch the fight, they kept showing in between rounds Isaac Chamberlain he had a pillow and he was sleeping on it, and he kept, he was sleeping on it, and he was basically making fun of Lawrence Okolie because he was trying to say that Lawrence Okolie was boring, and that's what he was implying with this fight with Lawrence Okolie and how he was performing against Wadi Camacho. Because I'm not even gonna lie, early on in the fight it was kind of boring. Wadi Camacho was not committing to anything offensively whatsoever. He was winging punches and really wasn't confident enough to step in with any sort of just anything behind his jab. And then anytime Okolie tried to cut that distance and line him up for the right hand, Wadi Camacho was tying him up. And for pockets of that first two rounds, it was very reminiscent of what I believe to be might be one of the top 5 worst fights I've ever seen ever in boxing, and that was Lawrence Okolie versus Isaac Chamberlain, which is why this video is directed to Isaac Chamberlain, because it's not a good look, man. And I'm speaking as somebody who is an Isaac Chamberlain fan. I like Isaac Chamberlain. I want to see him push on and get past the British scene and break into the world, get to world level and do something with his career. But I think it's a very bad look when you're sitting ringside and you got a pillow around your neck talking about this guy's boring, when you were in the ring with him and you delivered probably one of the most boring main events of 2018, and not even just that, you were in one of the most boring fights of all time and you lost. That's what makes it worse. It's one thing if you're a Okolie and okay, it was boring, but I won. But if you're the guy who lost and then you were in one of the most boringest fights of all time, and then you show up to the guy who beat you's fight and you're sitting ringside and you got a pillow around your neck, I just think it's not a good look for Isaac Chamberlain. I thought it was funny, because it was funny, but in a way I was like, damn, well, now Isaac Chamberlain kind of understands how I felt when I had to watch them wrestle for 12 rounds. If I wanted to watch wrestling, I would just go on YouTube and type in Stone Cold Steve Austin promos, or The Rock, or Rob Van Dam, or Rikishi, and I'd go watch wrestling highlights. But no, I had to sit through 12 rounds of Okolie not being able to command distance. I had to sit through 12 rounds of Isaac Chamberlain excessively holding the man. It was a piss poor fight, to be honest with you, and I felt bad too, because it was a fight that I talked up here on YouTube. I was hyped about it because here you had 2 British prospects putting it on the line very early in their career, and I'll never forget this. My boy Alex, my friend Alex, y'all may know him from my live reactions. There was another big fight on that night, and it was Murat Garcia versus Junior Ticos, and I told Alex, I telling Alex, I said, nah, bro, the fight we gotta watch, the real exciting fight is Lawrence Okolie versus Isaac Chamberlain, because I was so gassed in that fight and I looked like an idiot. That fight was one of the worst fights of all time, and Garcia versus Ticos was a fight of the year candidate. So I'd eat some crow on that one. But Lawrence Okolie, following seeing Isaac Chamberlain ringside with a pillow, mocking him, saying he's boring and sleeping, he said, I quote, "The waste man I beat already." Basically call him the waste. He didn't even say it by name. He called him the waste man that I beat already. So, this is a fight that maybe down the road, if Isaac Chamberlain can do what he needs to do and actually improve as a fighter and get past that British level, maybe he could break into the world level and they can have a rematch for a world title. Because right now, as it stands, Lawrence Okolie, he's conquered the British cruiserweight scene. He's conquered it. And then now if you look at Lawrence Okolie, in the rankings for cruiserweight, I mean, if we look at the WBC, right? So far as it stands, he's not ranked in the WBC. But then we go to the WBA. Lawrence Okolie is ranked 6th in the WBA. We go to the IBF. Lawrence Okolie is not ranked in the IBF, but he is ranked in the WBO at number 10. So he's top 10 in 2 sanctioning bodies. Isaac Chamberlain's name is nowhere to be found. Isaac Chamberlain, as much as I like him and as much as I was rooting for him to win that fight, you laid a dud, and to be showing up to this man's fight with a pillow, it's funny, you know. I got a laugh out of it, but once I get past my laugh and the humor of it all, I sit here and say to myself, man, now Isaac Chamberlain knows how I felt when I had to watch his ass fight Lawrence Okolie, because it was one of the worst fights of all time. I mean, it was, and I never thought I'd say this, but for you real diehard boxing fans out there who have watched this fight I'm going to tell you about, you know this fight might be the worst fight of all time in the modern era. Chris Bird versus Devar Williamson. That might be the most boringest fight of this era. And I would even go as far as say that Okolie versus Isaac Chamberlain was on that level. It was that damn bad. So, yeah, those were the scenes tonight from the Copper Box Arena as Isaac Chamberlain was poking fun at Lawrence Okolie. And, yeah, that's what it is. So he's got to, you know, take a long look in the mirror and just you know, push forward in his career. It's good to have fun, but come on, man. You turned in a dud that fight. You didn't even like you. And the funny thing is, if you guys remember, in the build up to that fight, it wasn't Okolie clamoring for the fight as much as it was Chamberlain. Chamberlain was the one that was barking, and Chamberlain was one of the media, and Chamberlain was the one saying, "Oh, this guy better not duck me. He better not do this. Better not do that." And then when it came time to perform in the night, you didn't perform. So it's just not a good look. And I honestly wish him the best, but I'm gonna have to agree with Okolie right now. As it stands right now, you are. I'm not saying as a fighter, because I think you're a good fighter, but in terms of into what you are to Lawrence Okolie's career moving forward, you are, as they would say in the UK, you're a waste man. You're a waste man. The guy is ranked top 10 in 2 sanctioning bodies. He's beat you. He's beaten Matty Askin. He's beaten Waddy Camacho. He's the unified British and British Commonwealth champion. So you better put some respect on his name. Yeah, I get it. You know, Okolie's not the most, you know, as he's been stepping it up, he hasn't been showing himself to be the most exciting fighter in the world. But I'll tell you one thing right now. He is the bootleg cruiserweight version of Deontay Wilder, you know, because when he gets you hurt, he finishes you. And you know, tonight, like take a fight, Waddy Camacho. Camacho was doing the same. He was imploring, applying, you know, Isaac Chamberlain tactics, you know, excessive holding, making the fight, you know, kind of boring and dirty, and you know, just muddying up the waters. But Okolie, you know, was able to work his hands free. He was able to chop the body. He was able to, you know, line him up for the right hand and the left hook, and when it landed, that was it. So, you know, he's learning and he's progressing with his career, and I would highly suggest that Isaac Chamberlain continue to do the same thing. And I'll be watching. I'll be watching Isaac Chamberlain. I really want him to do well. So that's the news. Isaac Chamberlain goes to Lawrence Okolie's fight with Waddy Camacho ringside with a pillow to imply that this fight was boring, and now Isaac Chamberlain knows how we all felt when we had to watch those two fight last year in one of the worst fights of all time. So, it's your boy BT. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Isaac Chamberlain's antics ringside tonight at the Copper Box Arena for what we want to call fight with Waddy Camacho. Take the time to subscribe, like I say in every single one of these videos. You can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.